Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Eric Hunley, and I'm joined again by Gavin Stone.
I'm good, thank you.
Who is my expert in viewing the last or the second half of the Amber Heard Dateline interview. If you like content like this, and experts such as Gavin Stone, the entire behavior panel, or many other folks, please consider subscribing. Now, Gavin and I have been going through the interview that ultimately aired on Dateline in pieces, and the full interview came out on Friday. However, there's a caveat, and this is very frustrating. It has already been proven by my friend Spidey at Behavioral Arts. He pointed out an inconsistency that Amber Heard had stated, where she separated herself from victims by stating something along the lines of, they don't have resources like you and me, Savannah, which made her not a part of the pool she's supposed to be. Very interesting. Now, that could have been a slip up. It could have been anything. However, it was not in the full interview. The words were carefully excised with a stealth edit, and it's no longer there. You have to go to the earlier clips that were released to see this information.
So yeah, with a lot of this, we can only say what we see, and we're only looking at what's going on in these particular clips and the bits that we're able to see. But yeah, we can still pick up quite a lot from it.
I've got over a dozen clips today. Baker's dozen, right? Let's get cracking.
Depp's team argued that Amber had a history of being untruthful. Case in point,
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
I'm going to interrupt right in the middle of this clip within the clip, because I just saw a little deception right there. Did you pick up on that? What did I see? Did I get it right?
The little Amber Heard flutter?
The Amber Heard flutter and the Amber Heard change of direction.
Ah, right, okay.
I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
They played a clip from an interview on Dutch TV where she said she had donated her $7 million divorce settlement to charity. But it was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. Do you think that raised questions?
Was donated to. This is a major point in the trial. Donated to. She used donated to.
Mm-hmm.
It got separated from her statement there. She paused, changed directions, and then said two directions. So I think that even back then she was tripping on the word donated. What are your thoughts?
If I said the same thing to you, if I said, well, Eric, I've got $8 million and I'm going to donate it to, well, it'll get split between. All of a sudden, it's are we talking about the $8 million, or we're talking about $1 that I might split between?
So I think that even then, she was playing games with this. So we'll keep going with the rest of the clip, and I just literally saw it now, and I was like, oh, look at that.
They played a clip from an interview on Dutch TV where she said she had donated her $7 million divorce settlement to charity. But it was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
Well, I think, look, when you say to someone, I bought a house, are you lying? Because you have not paid for it in full at that point? I made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature.
Okay. First thing I asked you, start with the...
Oh, yeah.
Start with a shrug, and just a little bit like, I don't know. Immediate eye block, not answering, and then goes right into the when you buy a house. She tried that analogy in court and it got slapped down.
Yeah, you'd think she'd have come up with a better one. Well, you got the gulp, which we've discussed before. She seems to have 3 different sizes. That seemed to be a medium-sized gulp. That she did today. The blink rate goes up again a little bit. We got the down and right kind of glance as she's gone into emotion. And then after she says, if you bought a house, you got a long pause while she's having to think about where she's going with it. You know she's done this speech before. More importantly, like you said, it didn't work then. Why use it again? Nobody bought it the first time.
You're splitting hairs a little bit there, because when you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you've donated it, not that you
I
pledged
love
it.
Savannah. She's like, I'm not playing with you at all.
So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
I don't know, because I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar in every way you can, and
That
more.
was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
Mouth shrug, non-answer, double non-answer. Well, I think that, I like she double starts on those. Little bit of contempt in her answer too.
What do you have? Very clunky speech. She's buying time throughout the whole thing with the clunky speech and the way she's talking. And again, like you said, evasive with the answer. There's no kind of direct answer there at all. Although I did love Savannah's comeback.
They suggested this was a publicity stunt, a way to raise your profile at a time when these issues were quite relevant.
It was one of those few moments of levity in the trial when I heard it suggested that my op-ed in the Washington Post could potentially boost sales for an international multi-million-dollar superhero franchise movie that I was starring in. It's the other way around. You know, if anything, we're trying to get more awareness and attention on the issues within the article.
It wasn't a publicity stunt or a way to...
It's the opposite.
First off, Savannah asked, did you do this to get the fame off of the movie that was about to be released? Mm-hmm. Amber, please don't take this the wrong way, but have you ever run across somebody who likes to use language in a manner and show how smart they are? And you just kind of laugh at it. Well, but this is sort of her. It's like, that was a moment of levity. A moment of levity. Doesn't that sound good? It's levity. But what was the moment of levity? Oh, the moment of levity was that her op-ed would help that movie. Well, that's not actually what was stated. And then she said, if anything, it's the opposite. Well, the opposite is exactly what was asked.
I mean, she did a good job of it. And a lot of people probably would bypass it and it would go unnoticed. But, like you said, it's the question was, did you cash in on this movie franchise, on the publicity, and to raise your profile? And she's turned it around completely, not once but twice, to say, no, if anything, it was the other way around. It's like, well, no, this is what we're asking. So, but I'd have probably pushed there if I was Savannah, but who knows?
Gavin, if I wrote an op-ed and I was going on Joe Rogan tomorrow, and I timed the release of the op-ed to coincide with when I went on Joe Rogan, and you asked me, go ahead and ask me that basic question. Okay,
so did you time the release of this op-ed, Eric, to coincide with your starring on the Joe Rogan show?
Absolutely. I want to get people to see it, sure. Now, if you said it in an aspersion, it could be answered and say, no, I did not do that in an evil way. I did that to get good exposure. Of course, I'm going to put that out then. Why would I put it out sometime else? I want as many people to watch it or read it as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been her best answer all round. It's just to turn around and say, yeah, of course I did. I want people to read my article. I'd got the perfect time. I was in the limelight. Why not?
I feel like she's so caught up in the whole, I can't give on anything. Mm-hmm. You'll probably point it out, but later on, Savannah said you had an answer for everything.
What I learned in that trial is it's never going to be good enough. If you have proof, then it was a scheme. It was a hoax. If you don't have proof, it didn't happen. If you have a bruise, it's fake. If you don't have a bruise, then violence clearly didn't hurt you. If you told people, then you're hysterical. If you didn't tell anyone.
All right, gulp at the end, and then this is the Amber Heard eye flutter, beautiful suite. Almost every point that it could be a deception, there was an eye flutter. And it's perfect timing.
So yeah, if you look at that, her body language is very closed off. She's very, very tight with her hands on her movement. Very small movements when she's making them. They're very small and jerky. There's no demonstrative big movements. No kind of gesticulating. Nearly said that right. As she's talking. So again, not 100% convinced that she's believes what she's saying. And you've got the usual, like you say, the usual Amber Heard flutters.
No experience like being cross-examined. What was that experience like for you?
The scariest, most intimidating thing for anybody talking about sexual violence is not being believed, being called a liar, or being humiliated.
I was humiliated, or it was very hard on me. I had a tough time. I was embarrassed. No, it's, the scariest thing, and we're going into a narrative about somebody else.
Yeah, again, it comes back to what we were talking about as well previously about, we're back to humiliation. And she's saying the scariest part of sexual violence and this kind of thing is the humiliation from it all and not being believed. I'm not 100% sure that's the scariest part.
Here comes the comments, but I could see someone who is truly victimized, that the idea that no matter where they turn, they're not believed, if it was really going on, would be incredibly terrifying.
Yeah, for somebody who's actually currently undergoing it. And with Amber at the moment, it's a case she's no longer in it. She's no longer in that position, and she's moved on to, she's kind of safe from it. If this happened, she's safe from it now. So, she's now saying the scariest part of the whole thing was not being believed. For me, like I say, I think the scariest part would have been it happening and her wanting to get out, and then afterwards, now she's safe. If nobody believes her, then you can see that side of it being a major concern. But from the whole kind of scenario from start to finish, not so sure.
I'll give it to her. I just am saying, I don't believe she was in the situation. So
yeah,
kind of a moot point on that.
Is there one piece of evidence that you wish the jury had seen that you could point to? You say, this would have made the difference.
Yeah.
What is it?
There's a binder worth of years of notes dating back to 2011 from the very beginning of my relationship that were taken by my doctor, who I was reporting the abuse to.
Nice mixed bag there. I believe her, yeah. I believe she does think if this binder could get in, this really could have done something for me. Mm-hmm. I believe the binder's going in. I'm having trouble believing the notes that you're putting into it because, again, we're seeing the Amber flutter.
Well, we've got a couple of things going on here. I mean, I did mention, we have covered this previously, where she stresses on the word doctor. Like this buys this credible kind of, look, it's got to be authentic because it's my doctor. We did discuss it in the last video, but what we've got here really is technically somebody else who's making a diary for her. I mean, it's not really, medical, like you mentioned, it's not like she's had a broken arm and it's on a medical record. This is a doctor where she's gone to the doctor and say, Johnny's hit me, I had a bruise on my cheek. The doctor's written it down. That's it. So it's not evidence. And so you can understand why it wasn't put in.
Doctor's notes can't really go in because they heard something and they're telling you rather than going right to the source, right?
Exactly.
For example, if the doctor was watching them out in the waiting room and they had a scuffle and the doctor said, I saw them having a scuffle on this date, that wouldn't be hearsay, right?
That
would be a direct, she witnessed that. But you see, you have Amber saying something and then the doctor saying something. So you got this double removal.
I testified I was attacked on that flight, and I was attacked in front of people. And when I got off the plane, sent messages to people about what had happened. I'm angry because this happened. Can you believe he did this and this and this, And one of the people I reached out to was my father.
Amber, we know you testified. Tell us what happened. Don't tell us that we testified.
Yeah, so I mean the whole thing's very nebulous anyway, with the kind of this happened, that happened, this very wishy-washy. It's not very specific. She hasn't turned around and said I got off the plane after he hit me and kicked me, which I would have liked to have heard. She also said when I got off the plane, sent text messages, and that pronoun I was missing. She didn't say when I got off the plane, I sent text messages. She said I got off the plane, sent text messages. And that would have been a little red flag, possibly slightly forgivable, but in statement analysis we tend to look for missing pronouns as being something to alert you as to why are there missing pronouns.
It's very, very awkward. Like, I encourage you, you're watching, say a sentence like that. Say, I went to the store, send a text message. Does that make sense? No, you're going to say, and I sent a text message. Now, I understand to a degree if you said, send a text message yesterday. It's not good. It's still going to, raise flags, but boy, mid-sentence I think is even stronger.
When I asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? The answer I got was, because she never took responsibility for anything she did in the marriage. And as we're sitting here and I watched your cross-examination, there's an answer for everything.
She literally gulped like she was hit there. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like right back. Oh, my God. So tell me what happened, Gavin.
So I did mention to you earlier that I love the structure of this sentence that Savannah put together. It's really, really brilliant. I'm going to refer to my notes here for a second, so if I look down for a moment, forgive me. So she starts it off with, when I asked his lawyers, and then there's a slight pause. Why do you think you won? The answer I got was, and then there's a slight pause again, because she never took responsibility for anything. Then there's this long pause. She did, and a long pause again in the marriage before she finally continues. And that's when she says, sitting here now, I watched the cross-examination and you have an answer for everything. And you see Amber's response and you see her midway through the question going, where are you going with this? I'm not sure I like this. And you can see almost that look of, I'm not happy with this at all. Like you say, and then there's this big gulp of like, I'm really concerned. And the structure obviously worked, and we'll see in this next video now, because this was very cleverly asked, this question. I did like it.
Do you feel you should have owned up to more of your own bad behavior that was revealed in court?
I'm glad, actually, you asked me that, because, there is an answer for these things. You say, I said this on the stand. You hear my voice in those audio tapes. It's not the voice of me now. That's not who I am now. I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret.
Good Lord. She starts out almost with like a sneer, or a laugh, or I don't know what it is, but it's like that odd smile. And then Savannah keeps going and interrupts her mode. And then she falls into the, I'm glad you asked, actually. I flutter on the glad, I flutter on the actually, which implies the opposite, alternative thoughts and plans. Obviously, she's not glad she asked that, but I think there's a bit more in there. Take it away, Gavin.
Which, like I say, the structure seemed to have worked, and I think it's possible that she was still processing it at the point she started answering, and that was why you got that kind of sneer at the beginning, which turned, I think, into a little bit of a laugh of relief when she realised where she was going, when she said, you had an answer for everything. And she's like, oh, phew, I'm glad you're going that way with it and not where I thought you were going with it. And I think that's possibly what happened. And, so if I were to turn around and say to you, Eric, you never take responsibility for anything that happens at any point on a Walmart shopping trip on a Sunday. The severity of the whole thing lessens, and of course I think that's where she's going, oh right, I see where you're going with this now, and that's why that nervous smile was there.
On the first day of the trial, you issued a statement, and part of the statement said, I still have love for Johnny.
Yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
After everything?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love him. I loved him with all my heart. And I tried the best I could to make a deeply broken relationship work. And I couldn't.
You know what I see in there, and this one was bothering me before because she was being truthful. I love him. I love him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then she turned. And when she said, I loved him with all my heart, she started to get deceptive. So is it possible that there may be a time thing? Like now suddenly she loves him and he's earned this love through this war that they're having? Or I don't know. I'm very confused by this clip. So I'm depending on you to make it clear.
I do have a possible theory here with this, and this is, it goes into the NPD that we were talking about before, and the fact that she has a lot of these narcissistic traits. Now, where I'm going with this is, if ever you're in a relationship with a narcissistic person and you really want to trigger them, then the thing is tell them that you're leaving, and watch them go, no, you don't decide when we split up. I'm the narcissist. I decide. I'm the one. You don't get to leave me. I'm the one that makes the decisions. And I think it's almost hurtful to her pride when he says, no, I don't want this anymore. And more to the point, I'm going to sue you for defamation. And I think that's where we could be going with this whole kind of, no, I still love you. You come back here and do as you're told and be a good Johnny Depp until I say we're over, and then we can stop loving each other. And I think that's possibly where this whole thing has gone. Might be wrong, but that's the impression I get. There's possibly those narcissistic traits kicking in there for her.
I hope this hasn't, had the chilling effect that I worry it may have on other people. I worry about that. But if I can look you in the eye, Savannah, and say, I'm still here, and maybe that serves to balance out some of the very, very real fear others may have about coming forward or speaking out.
I love how she says, if I can look you in the eye, it kind of slinks down underneath like almost like a dog who got caught doing something, looking him in the eye. And then the whole very, 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 which is statement analysis separation, let me see. It's like, I'm happily married. Okay. Good. I'm very happily married. Okay. You need to add the very, maybe I wasn't happily married before.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me, and there's a lot going on in this. And one of the things that concerned me as well was towards the end, where she's got her chin forward in a very almost prideful way, when she should be more chin down in that kind of entire explanation when she's talking about whether it's affecting other people stepping forward or not. I reckon there should be a bit more remorse there on display. She's trying to show remorse on her face, on the expressions, but it's not there if you look at her posture. So the other thing was as well, she's doing these kind of comforting actions while she's there, and very self-soothing while she's talking about it, very drawn in body language there this entire time. So which is kind of saying the opposite of her having the chin up. It doesn't look right. It's conflicting. It's not natural.
Well, there you have it. Gavin, congratulations. This is the end of this interview that we've covered, hashed up 5 different ways, it seems, of Amber Heard. And you now can go back to your life. But what Gavin and I feel about this is not important at all. We want to know what you think. Do you think she's telling any kind of truth at any point? Do you think Gavin and I are right? Do you think we're wrong? What do you think Gavin and I missed? That I definitely want to hear, because we didn't cover everything, and we'd love to have you fill in the blanks. So please comment below, subscribe so you can catch the next video. Have some neat stuff coming out. I have a former friend of Marilyn Manson I've got an analysis with Gavin of Evan Rachel Wood on The View, and more to come. So, see you in the next video.